Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our special Sci-Fi Vision night, where we talk about The Last of Us. And Jamie should be here momentarily.
Yeah,
Good
our new
start.
show. Look to the
Good
light.
start on our new show, Jamie.
She says she'll be here in a sec. It was her
Yeah.
idea to do this. Well, welcome to Look for the Light. We have a nice new setup here that only works with 3 people, right? So we'll put on our new background when Jamie shows up. I guess we're going to break down the show, and we welcome comments from everyone who is in the chat who wants to join us. And I guess we should mention that here's Jamie. Get her on the stage.
Hello.
Hi, Jamie.
Sorry about that. You guys already went live. Sorry. Running late there, but we're okay. It's all good.
I was waiting for you so we could turn on our new background, which only works with 3 people.
Yeah.
Oh,
you have to push this one. No. Nope.
That's not the right one. Anyway, while we get this out, first day on the new background. So I guess we should mention. Oh, you just got to drag us over there, right, Jamie?
Yeah. There's. Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. No, because there's 3 of us.
Well, maybe when you present, it will work.
You just did it the other
that's
night.
why. That's why I'm not presenting. Thank you. That is exactly.
Sorry,
why.
everyone. First day. But I think before we get started, we should mention that we. Hi, Fletch. that we're not gamers. We haven't played the game, and we are here to talk really about the show. But I think we welcome insights from people who've played the game, who can help add context. And we might have some guests later in the season who might talk gaming a little bit, right?
I was going to say, I've played it, but I don't know if I played it enough to...
I thought you only played the first version. I thought you didn't play the second version.
Oh, no. I played the very beginning of the second game, just not enough to go too far into it. But I know a few things.
Well, Fletch, we know you have played the game. No spoilers, that's right. But we always appreciate a little, like last week, I know, Fletch, you were giving us some little insight and context with the game. So I'm excited for this new show, you guys.
Yeah, I am too. So what did you guys think? Like, I was a little underwhelmed, if I'm honest. Like, I liked it, but I felt like not, I guess, as much happened as I expected. And I know that it's because you're going back into the season and, they kind of got to bring everybody back in. And there was a really good scene with Ellie being attacked by, a clicker and another infected. But I don't know, just something about it. I was a little underwhelmed. I liked it. I just was a little underwhelmed.
What do you think, Karen?
I think it's a season premiere, and a season premiere is always a setup episode with a 5-year time jump. I think it was important to give us like a lot of context of where Joel and Ellie's relationship is right now, 5 years later, right? Mm-hmm. And how that father-daughter dynamic has evolved into a love-hate. I haven't raised teenagers. I always defer to AJ, who has raised a teenage girl and teenage boys. But I thought, action-wise, it was not the most actiony episode. But I expect the season premiere to be set up. AJ?
Yeah, I agree. I feel like it was just like, setting up, saying, all right, this is where our people are now. Actually, at one point, I was laughing my ass off the whole episode. I mean, there were so many funny things that happened and funny lines and stuff. And I actually said to Artie at one point, I was like, I thought this was a horror show. I was like, not a comedy. So I like the introduction of the new characters. Just from what we got in the first episode, it seems like Ellie is on the outs with Joel because I think he's been, I don't know how long he's been acting like this, but he's so overprotective of her, and it's starting to cramp her style, I guess. And she just basically, it sounds like he just needs to back off, and not be so worried about her all the time. she's more than capable of taking care of herself, as we've seen time and time again. You know, I mean, part of it is the, you know, teen angst, even in this world that they live in. But I really think a lot of it has just, you know, from the conversations and what we got, I think a lot of it is Joel needs to back off. He needs to stop being a helicopter dad. Even like when he's like looking at the guitar and he's like, "You still playing?" She's like, "Yeah." And he looks at it, he's like, "Oh, this needs to be restrung. You'll have it back tomorrow." And he just grabs it and walks out with it. And it just like, it, you know, no conversation about it, just trying to do whatever he, you know, since she's not letting him do much, do whatever he can. We'll talk about this later as we learn more about Abby, but I don't play the game, but I know game things. For one, I know a lot of the internet buzz has been that Abby's character is much more foreboding looking in the game. And they changed the direction. And from what I read, the reason they changed the direction is because they wanted to focus on Abby's character more than her physical presence. You know, they wanted to show that you don't have to be brooding and, you know, foreboding to be a good character. You know, they want her to use her brain a little more in the show, I guess.
Yeah, I think when they cast, they need to worry about who's the best actor. And sometimes I think people get too caught up on the look and that, you know, you're right, that she looks exactly like the character or whatever. It doesn't really bother me that she's not as strong looking and that she's, you know, more feminine. I don't really see how it's going to impact it. We're not going to see her running. I mean, granted, we might see her kill, you know, infected or that kind of thing or whatever, kill people, but she doesn't have to like be, you know, like beefed up. She's not going to be spending the whole time inside a video game running around shooting things and killing things, and you know, it's not quite the same because the majority of the time is devoted to the dramatic part of the show. But yeah, I think that I'm kind of surprised. I've been listening to people talk about this, and I don't think they actually revealed about Abby, and I could be wrong. Maybe Fletcher knows. I don't think they revealed about Abby till later in the game, who she was or anything. But obviously, we still don't know much about her if you don't know anything about the game. So I kind of like the way they did it. They introduced her, but you just don't get that context yet. Because I know, Karen, you were kind of didn't quite get why it might matter.
Guys, I have no light in my house. You see me struggling with light in my house?
You're all good.
So Michael had his comment up there that he also, I mean, we're getting a lot of comments here that are running past. I'm trying to highlight, but Michael had commented that he was interested in how they handled Abby versus how they handled her in the game. Right. And Fletch feels, as a gamer, not feeling this Abby at all. Indeed.
I like your icon, Fletch.
I'm not feeling this Abby, and it's not because of the physical body. It's the actress herself. She's too soft for Abby, in my opinion. Interesting.
Well, to be fair, we don't know anything other than the 2 minutes we got on screen. She might, you know.
Yeah.
We'll have to see how it plays out.
Michael says, for me, it wasn't her look. It was the fact that they revealed who her character was immediately. I mean, I commented to Jamie and maybe AJ also via text that I was kind of, okay, so setting aside the game and what the game is, in this show, why in the apocalypse when people, it's so hard to survive and there's zombies everywhere, like in every apocalypse show, there's someone who is driven like to walk all around the whole country searching for this one person to wreak vengeance. I just like she's been like immediately revealed that she was, you know, with the Fireflies in Seattle, and she wants vengeance on Joel for killing these people that she was with. And she has now spent 5 years walking around the entire country until she wandered into the right town, I guess. It kind of killed the buildup, right? I don't know what happens in the game. I don't know if she's supposed to be around the town and you find out later that she's been tracking them down. I don't know. Fletch thinks people need to get this. Abby in the game got that body because of what happened to her. She's preparing for vengeance. Oh, so in the game she's like buff and built up and cut, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense. I guess the difference is, like, I don't mind that they introduced her because you didn't get that backstory yet. So, but I kind of see, yeah, it does kind of change the build up, but I feel like that reveal still hasn't happened. And I can understand, like, from a TV show point of view, they wanted to introduce her early. Maybe it would have been better to wait. I don't know. But I do think that, once you get context, that's a difference than just knowing she was with the Fireflies.
Well, we deal with it. We deal with this all the time
Yeah.
with shows we watch that are based on something. I mean, we went through it with Interview with the Vampire. A lot of changes with that, but what they did worked. Because you can't always go from one medium to another. It doesn't always work. Um, since I talk about the Immortal universe, absolutely hated Mayfair Witches, which I don't even know why they kept the same name. But so with this, again, the creators, and this happens a lot of times, the creators of the show have flat out said it's not going to be scene for scene. Are there going to be highlight scenes that are shown in the show because they're so iconic in the game? Absolutely. But they're not necessarily going to put things in the same order or go the same direction or do exactly everything the same, because if you go frame for frame with the game, what's the point of the show? Because they want to bring viewers like us in who are not gamers, but they also want to please the gamers too. So they gotta walk that line, but they want to surprise the gamers and give them something a little new too.
Yeah, I'm just kind of, as we're talking about this, I'm just going through some of the pictures at the beginning here, since I did take them, that are about as we meet these Fireflies looking for Joel. They think his name is Joel. They're not even 100% sure. They don't want to talk about the story with Ellie because they don't believe it's true, but they are after Joel. And the shows, I guess he pretty much killed everybody there. It's alluding to, I don't know that he really had time to kill every single person in that building, but yeah, there's quite a bit.
Oh, and part of Abby's crew is Tati Gabrielle, who played Gaia on the 100. She was also
Gaia. Not a favorite character. I mean, I rewatched last season's finale before we jumped into this, and Jamie and I, with the three of us, did that episode recently. Joel did kill a lot of people.
He did.
And he probably killed some off screen, like he killed Marlene off screen, and then we got the flashback to it later, right? He killed a lot of people. I believe he could have killed even more than we saw. But it was an interesting setup. I get that. I guess why they would set that up. I'm walking around my house. Hang on. Like Fletch says, yeah, we didn't get this earlier in the game. I guess I can see why you want to set this up for television viewers, maybe to build the suspense. Like, is she going to go into the town and like kind of be secret identity, and the viewers will know how dangerous and scary this is, and Joel and Ellie don't. Maybe that's what's going on there. I don't know. And then we didn't see any of these people again for the whole rest of the episode, right? Just like, I'm going on vengeance. Who's coming on my vengeance quest with me?
Yeah. Michael says that regardless, he trusts the creators and still has the original. So yeah, sure. we can wait and see how it goes. I think.
Absolutely.
Okay, wait. Fletch is saying if they have Abby going into Joel's town, that's not the game story at all. We don't know. He will go into the town. She will. I'm assuming the way they ended it, but I don't know.
I was speculating.
Yeah, that's total spection. We have no clue. So we'll have to wait and see. But the point is, these Fireflies are pissed off. And they're going to travel to find him, no matter what it takes. And she says they're going to kill him slowly. So she wants him to suffer.
That's kind of uncool. He didn't kill people slowly, as far as we know, although he might have shot some of them and left them to bleed out because he was on a mission, right? But he didn't like torture people to death. She's very vengeful. She's a very angry lady in that moment. She is, yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Then we
I got this light for free. Can you tell by how crappy it is?
It's green.
I like no light. My house is I live in like a dungeon. My house is so dark.
Okay. Fletch did say Joel did torture people to death. He did, but not in the show that we've seen. Not the
Fireflies.
That guy in the knee. Remember, he was torturing that guy.
Well, those were the church people.
Just not Abby's people. He did torture people, like the people, the cult people. He definitely did. You're right, Fletch. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah. But he did not torture Abby's.
Before he met
he did not torture Abby's people to death.
Right. All right. So Ellie is learning to fight, practicing, and Fletcher said, where did it go? I think it was Fletcher. Oh, 5 years. After time. 5-year time gap, Ellie looks this. I actually thought that she looked older, and I wasn't sure why. Like she looks taller the way they filmed it or something. At least in this scene, I felt like that. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. Because I was saying it when I was watching it, like she suddenly looks older. I don't know. Maybe it's just because
I think she looks older. To be, I mean, this has actually been a very common discussion in my house.
Fair, she's been in her 20s since before the show started, and she is now.
That's the thing. She was 16 or 17 when they filmed season 1. She was 19 when they filmed season 2. So
I think a young person could change a lot physically in those years. And
I thought she was older than she was. Okay.
Not everybody's tall. Oh, she's 21 now, but you got to remember they filmed this a while ago. You know, she's not tall. Not everybody's tall, Walt.
Yeah, but kids grow more when they're younger too.
I definitely feel like she looks older than she did in the first season. I can see what people are saying though by not much, but she's such a great actress that I'm sure she'll be fine. I'm not worried about it in the least.
Fletch says, I think they should do like House of the Dragon and have different actresses for different ages.
Yeah, but we kind of hated that.
No, I think we might have hated it.
We hated it first.
But now I think has been great the way they did that on House. Jamie, can we next week bump all our pictures up so when I talk I'm not Fletch's avatar? I have to go like this to be over the avatar.
I don't know how to do that. That's because I didn't get to make the layout. That's what I have asked Michael about.
Oh, right. So Michael
response, then yes.
But I do like that. It worked out really well with it on House of the Dragon, but we're talking like 20 years in that character's life, right?
Yeah.
This is only 5. Anyway, please continue, Jamie.
No, I was going to say this guy's name is, I lost his name. I don't know. Do we have his name? His name's somewhere. I guess he isn't that important. He's just somebody she's fighting with, but he will be, I think will become important, but I don't remember what his name is. Somebody help me out here that remembers.
Oh, I don't know. Like Andy, maybe Andrew, could it be? Maybe.
I don't know, but I do think it's important later, but I don't know his name because he's one of like the main casts this year. He's one of the main ones that have been that has been cast, but I don't know. Anyway, so he basically is saying that the other guy went easy on her because he would have knocked her out, and she doesn't want to hear that. And he, he's like, Joel told us to. Basically says that Joel told him not to kill her. And she's getting pissed because her father is too much, and he's not really her father, obviously. Joel is too much worrying about her, I guess. Or at least she feels.
But I mean, there's a lot going on here, right? So Joel lost his first daughter, his daughter, Sarah. And so that's partly why he's so protective of Ellie. The second reason is, despite his choice to lie, he knows she's immune and possibly the future savior of humanity. So he really doesn't want the only immune person to get killed, right? There's that second thing going on there. And also, Ellie was raised in a Fedra orphanage school. She didn't have a parent ever, right? And then Joel suddenly becomes her father like 5 years ago. And I think, she was so used to not just doing for herself, but like fighting authority in that Fedra environment that like, that's a hard pattern for her to break also, right? Like, I just felt like there was a lot of that's making it so hard. Plus she's just being 19 years old, and like a 19-year-old girl can really be a little bitch to her father when she wants to.
Yeah. That's why I laughed when, the therapist is like, the problem he has is what every father has with their 19-year-old daughter. Yeah. I mean, her being angry is nothing unique.
Except AJ. I'm sure his daughter is perfect.
Fletch said Ellie really thought she was winning a wrestling fight against a beast like that. That's so funny. If that guy he could have killed your teen ass. Yeah, he's a lot bigger than her. I think the other guy's name, the one that's not the one she was fighting, I think his name's Jesse. I'm pretty sure. Because I forgot he
Jesse?
was. Yeah, because somebody said about him being Dina's boyfriend. I think that was his name. But anyway,
he's Dina's ex. His name is that.
That's pretty good. So we find out when she goes out that we're still at the town they went to with Tommy. Now, how the hell did they build it that big that fast? That is kind of crazy. I feel like you're really suspending disbelief here because as far as I remember, this was like one little town, wasn't it?
It's been 5 years.
I guess. But can you really, I mean, it looks like they've like made a town on top of a town, basically.
I took it that we just didn't see the whole town in that brief time we saw Joel there, or perhaps they have expanded and cleared out a town and taken it over. But I don't think they built like row houses with porches and roofs and all those things, and a church with a steeple is in the background there, and there's old like telephone wires, right? Like they didn't put up these.
A lot of that was there, but they are adding buildings, I guess, from what they said, because they're trying to find more places for new people to live.
Or fixing up buildings, yeah.
Fletcher said it looks just like the game, so that's good to know.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That means it's not practical. That means it's not practical sets, but that's fine. That's great. That looks really real and good.
Yeah.
And it's good to know that in the game it is a big town like this.
Yeah. So I took a picture of this too because this looks like it's going to be a problem, these roots growing through the pipe, because this comes back around at the end of the episode. But yeah, I would have at this point questioned, like, could any of them be fungal roots and should they maybe be being careful of that? But they kind of just move away from it and don't really talk about it. So
I wanted to like call my dad, who he's an engineer and he used to like build roads and stuff, and be like, seriously, have you ever seen a water main with that much? I mean, I know roots can grow into water mains and cause them to break and cause problems, but that was crazy. And I mean, yeah, is there anybody who didn't think that by the end of the episode we'd see like cordyceps in there? Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And Artie just told me that the town was already there and they built onto it in the game. So they probably did the same thing in the show. We just didn't, like Karen said, we just didn't see all of it before.
Yeah. It's probably more than we thought. So then we see an old Joel, who's I guess supposed to be 5 years older, so now he needs reading glasses. I'm not sure that that's really an indication that he got 5 years older, but they've given him glasses.
Oh, actually, you want to hear a funny story?
Sure.
So last season, in season 1, Ellie makes an old man comment, or no, she made a comment about how long it took him to climb up the stairs when they were before they meet Henry and Sam, and he's like, I'm 56 years old, right? So it's been 5 years, which means the character of Joel is now 61. Yeah. So I said to Artie, I was like, does Joel actually, I was like, do you think he actually looks 61? And Artie's like, yeah, it's believable. I was like, fuck you. Because Pedro Pascal's the same age as I am. I was like, so what are you saying?
Yeah, that's because Artie doesn't know any probably 61-year-olds. So I was inclined to believe that this character was 56. I think Pedro Pascal looks kind of young for 61, but I guess there's no air pollution anymore, and they're eating good. There's no Twinkies and Cheetos, and they're like have a better diet, better exercise. Right? Maybe he's a well-preserved 61. He looks pretty good. And the addition of a little gray. So I think the glasses were important to aging him there, but they're drugstore readers that I've been wearing since I'm in my early 40s, right? Like when you turn 40, like your eyes, boom.
I guess. I just think it's funny that that's the way they age him, is they're just like, we're just going to give him a pair of glasses. They do that a lot.
It was actually funny because the conversation came to be because we were having a conversation about Bella Ramsey not looking much older than last season, or season 1. So
him they tried to make look a little older. And this is where we first meet Dina, who we don't know yet who she is. We find out more about her later.
I feel like I still don't know who she is, really, after the whole first episode. I feel like I
Ellie's best friend and new girlfriend.
Yeah,
I know. I don't really feel like she's the new girlfriend by the end of it. I wasn't sure about. Well, we can talk about that as we continue. But
yeah.
So
Fletch, they are a big plot point. But I don't know. He doesn't see the chemistry. I don't know that I didn't see the chemistry. I don't know that I saw tons of it, but I don't feel like we really got a whole lot of time yet with them together. But I like her. I like the way they're having her character.
I don't know about chemistry yet, but you could definitely tell the way Ellie was looking at her that she already had feelings for her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I thought it was unrequited, really. Like they're best friends, and Joel thinks they're best friends, but Ellie clearly has a crush on Dina. Yeah. And I thought maybe that's all it was. And Dina's on again, off again with this boy. And sure, people can date boys and girls, but I felt like it was going to be this unrequited thing. And I mean, by the end of it, I'm not sure that I feel like one kiss. Okay, we'll talk about that later, but I don't feel like, unless you guys know from the game that it's coming, that it's her girlfriend, I don't feel
I have no idea.
I
just said it because they kissed. I figured the best friends, the next step is boyfriend.
I don't think we've seen enough of them, but I mean, I'm assuming that there's something there already because of a comment Jesse makes later makes me think that he thought that they were already going to get together, but that's neither.
I actually saw like Dina and Joel have really good chemistry, like as actors on screen together.
Yeah.
Dina and Joel were the MVPs of this episode. Yeah, as actors on screen, they have really good chemistry, and I enjoyed their scenes together. I don't mean they have chemistry like that relationship.
Right.
I know what you meant.
But hey, even the therapist, he's like, this girl's nice to me. He's like, she acts like a daughter, which I think is hilarious.
She might be a little older than Ellie. I mean, she definitely looks older than Ellie. She might be older than Ellie, might have been raised in a less dysfunctional environment. But I don't see huge chemistry. Like, I don't see sparks between Ellie and Dina, which I didn't mind because maybe that's why I read it as unrequited in this episode, right?
I read it the same way at first. I was not expecting that kiss at the end of the episode. I would love to. I want to see a behind the scenes and find out some stuff like specifically about the scene when they hunted those two infected, because that was hilarious when they were doing the hand signals and the gestures and everything. Really I want to know how much of that was ad-libbed. Like they didn't even
know what they were doing. Michael said he personally would have loved the first episode to just be catching up in Jackson and the second being Abby in the Fireflies without context. I could see that would have worked too. I wonder they just wanted to shove Abby in the premiere, but
well, it's only 6 episodes, so they have to move a lot faster. Like this game, 7, I mean, Fletch, how many hours? 7?
Yeah.
Whatever. Fletch, how many hours did it take you to finish the game? Like way more hours than we're going to see on television, right?
Probably. I'm
yeah.
Sure. All right. So at any rate, she's nice to him. Tommy's been teaching her how to shoot since Joel is too worried about her, which I thought was cute. I like that he's out there and she's getting to know him. And he's, I guess, fulfilling that part of it since Joel won't. But I think it, Joel might be a little mad if he knew he was. I don't know, just because he's so overly worried right now, because he tries to take her off patrol and get her put on the gate duty and everything, and she complains to Tommy and gets that fixed.
This is a bit of a thing that we see in a lot of post-apocalyptic kind of stories where the child goes to it's an uncle or another trusted adult who really treats them more like the adult and trains them, right? Like even in like Walking Dead, Carol was training the children. That's not a good example. I don't know why I went to
Carol was killing the children. What are you talking about?
She was killing the children. But going to a different trusted adult who treats you different. I mean, even in your life, right? You probably had an aunt or an uncle that you liked better than your parents.
Well, yeah, that's how it always is, because you're not supposed to like your parents.
Yeah.
Well, at any rate, she got him to get her off gate duty so she could go out looking for the infected and everything, which was her whole plan. I did like, though, when she's like, he can't tell me what to do. And then he says something like that he can tell him what to do. So he still listens to Joel. I thought that was a cute line. And then the next scene, that's Tommy and Maria's kid. I don't remember what his name is. I don't know.
He's like the RJ of the show that will be seen once or twice, but never speak or do anything.
Basically. But they have a conversation. Joel's trying to help keep the town together. And this is where he's saying, we can't go any faster, that you shouldn't let so many people in the town. And she's like, do you want him just to die? And he's like, no, but you take care of your own first, then you worry about everybody else. And he's not wrong. And I wonder if
but
that's going to become a problem later.
Yeah, he's not wrong, but she points out you were a refugee once too.
Yeah.
I know. It's like was written for contemporary politics. Like, you got in and now you want to close the door behind you, which is not really what Joel wants. Joel's a little bit more like, put on your own oxygen mask first, right? Before you put on someone else's.
Yeah, he's just being pragmatic. I get what he's saying, but
yeah, because he says, yes, I would save everybody if I could. Just take care of your own people first. I just wondered, like, that the fact that, because they have this committee, and she even says something like, it's your council as well. I have a feeling, I could be wrong, I really don't know, but I just kind of wonder with this conversation if they're going to get to a problem of taking too many people in, or have something happen because they're too busy taking people in, because they seem to have changed. Because at the beginning, when Joel first meets them, it seems like they didn't let very many people in, and now they've kind of shifted their point of view, or at least to some extent they have.
It'll be okay, because I'm sure people will die and then they'll have room.
Well, and they do mention that they're coming from failed colonies. There are a lot of refugees coming from failed colonies. Like, there's some indication that some of the Fedra safe zones maybe are not working out, and people that were like, they're not like they've grown and they're huge and they've become that place that people want to go to. Like, again, I hate to go to Walking Dead, but how many storylines where they were trying to get to Terminus, they were trying to get to the CDC, they were trying to like get to whatever, or in I Am Legend, where there's like a safety zone in Vermont or whatever, right? Like, and I think these people are coming from colonies that it's mentioned that there were some colonies that couldn't be sustained, and they're coming from there.
Well,
I was kind of surprised to see Tommy get to be sort of like, I knew they were going back to see Tommy, but Tommy played such a big role in this episode, and it surprised me a little bit. It surprised me a little bit, only because he was like only really in like one or two scenes in all of season 1, right?
Yeah, definitely. So then Joel goes to see her name's Gail.
It is Gail, yes.
The psychiatrist here. She is drinking. And she trades him in weed for her time, which is, he kind of questions, but she's upset because her husband dies, and she basically admits that she's pissed at him because he killed her husband, Eugene, which I'm curious if Eugene was in the game, because I have no clue. But the fact that she's like, the way you killed him, that's why she hates him, I feel like means we're going to see that at some point. I'm kind of assuming. I think it's great. And I think it makes sense that they would have to. But I don't know that he's going to tell her everything. She knows he has some kind of secret, and he won't tell her what it is for obvious reasons. So she don't find out about Ellie. But I really thought when she said she was going to tell it, like, say what she was thinking and what they were thinking, I thought she was going to say Ellie, is immune or whatever. I don't know. Did you guys feel like that? I thought that's what it was building up to. So I was kind of surprised when she said,
I didn't know where it was going.
I'm like, where did that come from?
I was more interested in the part where she talks about how Joel kills her husband, and she's like, I know you had to. I assumed that her husband became infected, and maybe that's why he killed him, or maybe he had a grievous injury that couldn't be treated. And she says it's the way you did it, which makes me think it wasn't like a clean kill shot to the head, right? It was some kind of, I don't know. Fletch says the gamers are hating that Joel has a therapist, which I guess is not in the game. I'm not against it. It is good for the TV show. It is. Like, right? Like this is a way to get Joel to speak his inner thoughts or not, or hold them back. So I kind of liked it.
Yeah, I was reading what they're saying. Michael says Eugene wasn't in the game, just kind of in essence like Frank from the first game. So we don't I guess know then what happened to him. But
okay,
maybe we will.
Yeah, it's something else I've heard, that the creators of the game, stuff that they didn't get to put in the game, they're using this opportunity now to do things that they would have liked to have done. So maybe this is one of those things.
Well, I like that they're doing that, though. I mean, because they have to add story. I mean, yes, there's a lot of hours in that cutscenes, as we had this discussion the other night. But you need something. You also are missing like the fight of the game too. You're missing the walking of the game. Like they have to add something in.
Oh my God, Fletch! That's so funny.
Was great.
I didn't recognize her.
Oh, really? You didn't recognize her?
No. But she was like,
I did, but I didn't think about her being in that. Yeah. Yeah. She's not the best mother in Home Alone. I would. Michael said the creator said Eugene is getting an episode, so we might see some of Eugene. I'm guessing we'll probably see a flashback of some kind.
Well, that's kind of cool. I mean, going back to the earlier comment from either Michael or Fletch about trusting the creators, they did such a good job with the Bill and Frank episode. Which a lot of people thought.
That was a great episode.
Right? So it could be. And so I really trust them to give us a Eugene episode.
And there's been other shows that we've covered over the years. Karen, you and I have been the same way, where we're like, where's this going? But they haven't steered us wrong so far.
Yeah.
I took a picture of the guitar because I know the guitar features later in the show. And I don't know. This might have been where they showed her tattoo too. When I rewatched it today, I wasn't able to take pictures because I was just watching it, but I know that there was actually a good picture of her tattoo. Because this is not it. At some point in the beginning of the show,
tattoo,
you can't really see it.
Yeah, but it's just not a good.
And I don't know if we're going to find out more about what she did later. I mean, obviously she got the tattoo to cover her bite, but
really, because if she did, it's a pretty shitty job. You can totally see the bite.
Well, it's not. She destroyed her skin as well, so you can't tell it's a bite, but you can't really tell there what she did because
she destroyed her skin on purpose.
Well, I was trying. I guess that's not really a spoiler. I was just trying not to give any game spoilers. Apparently,
is that a spoiler from the game that she?
I don't think that's a spoiler, but I mean, I wouldn't consider it a spoiler. But I guess she burns it, or she does something anyway to hide the bite, and then puts the tattoo over it. So yeah. Not that it's necessarily important. I would have liked to have gotten a good shot of the tattoo, but I couldn't, and I would have had to go back. So anyway, Dina comes in to get her for duty to go out. And I got probably more pictures. Okay. I thought I had more than I needed of that. They make a couple comments, or she makes a comment, and Jesse makes a comment too about, I don't remember what the name of it is, but the TV show that Joel likes to watch. I guess that is the show that she was watching with him in the pilot, or that Sarah was watching with him in the pilot. I had read that somewhere. I don't know because I don't remember, but I guess it was that. And you're right, Michael. She can't just stroll into a tattoo shop unless Joel or Tommy did the tattoo. She's very limited.
So. Yeah, but you know what? I've seen better prison tattoos, which they do with I don't know, ink from a pen or like.
That's just a bad shot of it. There's going to be a better shot later.
I've seen it, but not. I've seen it.
Not that I hang out in prison and have seen a lot of prison tattoos, but.
Well, at any rate, they're going to go on. I want to call it a raid. I don't think they call it a raid, but they're going to find out.
It's a patrol.
They're going to take care of some of the dead.
They're going on recon to see why there are so many infected showing up.
Yes, they do make a point of saying there's a lot more infected. And this is where Jesse's like, if you find more than one, I think he said something like, if you find more than one infected, don't engage. You call and we'll send people after them. And obviously, that's not going to happen. That's never going to happen. They're not going to listen. So this is where they have a conversation. She asks if she's going to the party, and they mentioned that she broke up with Jesse, but was going out with him. And I don't know, the way she asked Ellie about the party, I think was probably supposed to be hinting that she was interested in her as well. But since we haven't seen that scene yet, it's kind of hard to tell if it was in context or not.
I didn't get that from the scene.
I didn't get that either.
Yeah, I'm just saying it could have been what she meant. I don't know.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, you can be my +1, you know?
Yeah, she's like, we can go together. So yeah, it's.
I actually got it the other way, like that she was like, are you going? Oh, we could go together. And I got it a little bit like Dina was just being a friend, and like it was more wistful for Ellie, like that, like, because she's only asking Ellie because she broke up with Jesse. Right. Yeah, I didn't take it. I took it a little bit.
No, like, I'm just saying, I wonder if you were supposed to. I didn't either.
Yeah.
I just,
you're right. I don't know. That's just my own impression from that one. Scene.
This is I don't know if this is when she did make a crack about her being with one of the other women here that Ellie was. I don't know if she meant her or not. It's not really relevant.
Yeah.
Cat. She made a crack.
She said Cat.
Okay. I couldn't remember Cat. So they've come upon, I don't want to leave that on there too long so YouTube doesn't have a problem with it, but a bear that's been
YouTube has a problem with you screen capping a dead animal from a TV show.
No, I'm just afraid sometimes if you put too much gore, it can block it. That's all. Not the bear in particular, just a lot of blood. I don't know if it matters or not.
I actually, I actually didn't know that cordyceps infected would eat animals. I feel like that's the first time we've seen an animal that was eaten by them, and I didn't know if they only. I mean, we've seen other animals that aren't. We've never seen an animal harmed by an infected yet.
I don't know.
It was news to me.
It could have even been a clicker ripped them apart. We don't really know, because there was a human ripped apart too in pieces. So
yeah, but we've always known they eat humans. I didn't know they eat non-human mammals.
They infect humans. They don't eat them. They turn them into mushrooms.
So why did they go? So why would they go after a bear if they don't eat? And if the bear is not a host, then why did they tear apart that bear?
I assume they just tore it apart because there's a human laying there too. Not that I want to keep looking at this, but there's
go back to it. No, go back to it.
See,
there's not a human. Like, oh yeah, there's a dead guy in the background, right?
No, I mean right here, like that's an arm.
And look in the background. There's a dead guy laying there. Yeah.
So I kind of assumed maybe it was a clicker or something that tore him apart. I don't know. It's not really relevant.
I'm sure if they eat it, I'm sure if it was a thing, then somebody would say, yeah, in the game they eat animals, whatever.
Yeah.
I just for me, I was like, that was like a new layer of the infected for me.
Yeah. Fletcher's asking, and Source said this before, do we see chemistry between them because she feels like a little sister? I don't know. I don't think we've seen enough of her yet to really make a judgment. I mean, I didn't see tons of it, but I think we just haven't really.
I think there's a question. Do I see romantic chemistry? Absolutely not. That's why I keep thinking it's unrequited. I don't see romantic chemistry between them. Do I see chemistry as two people who work together? They're not the strongest pairing of the cast, I think, at least not yet.
I think part of it is because how Ellie is. She's everything in this episode, she was very broody and subdued, so she didn't have chemistry with anybody. Actually, except Tommy. That's because she was putting Tommy in his place. But Tommy was really the only one. Tommy was really the only one in the episode that she really seemed like to not be withdrawn with.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I mean, we don't know. I mean, she's known her. You assume she's known her for 5 years, but she isn't really. But then again, maybe it's just because she has a crush on her too. She's not interacting with her as much. I don't know.
I need to see more to actually make a decision one way or the other.
Well, and like teenagers and like so young people, 19, like you can be friends with someone for 5 years and then wake up one day and suddenly like have a whole new idea about them, right?
You're like, ooh, what's that feeling?
Yeah. Right? And I also I know that market, because I looked it up because it seemed like awfully focused upon that market's in the game.
Oh, it is
in the game, yeah. So that's why there's quite a few.
So this is probably like a whole like segment of the game, like this
probably.
Battling through the market and like trying to like fall through the hole and all that stuff. Like that, I bet that's a game sequence.
Probably. Either way, they want to go investigate and they're not supposed to. I find it funny that the adults do nothing. I mean, she's like, we'll go get him in 5 minutes. but they sneak in and they're doing their hand signals that don't really mean anything. We kind of discussed that. I think this scene's cute. I like this scene.
Well, to be fair, they're teenagers, but they're adults too. They're supposed to be. I don't know how old Dina's supposed to be, but Ellie's 18.
She's 19. Yeah.
No, 19.
So yeah, they're learning.
Still an adult.
Of course, the bottle was referenced to the game as well.
Oh, that's in the game, that shot?
Well, yeah, because you throw bottles to distract the clickers. I mean, it's kind of part of it.
I think, yeah, those two won't listen and won't follow rules, but I think maybe they don't have a huge amount of people that are willing to do this work. And I think maybe people are afraid of Joel. Like Joel, I don't know that Joel disciplines her. We haven't seen Joel really discipline her, discipline Ellie. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. And maybe people are afraid to discipline her because Joel would be that angry parent that yells at the teacher. Like if your kid fails a test, it's the teacher's fault kind of parent, right?
Maybe. I didn't think of that, but that's also probably why they don't want her going everywhere either. But Fletcher said this sequence mirrors the game well. But yeah, everybody's kind of worried about her though, probably as well, just because Joel wants him to take it easier on her and that, and she doesn't want them to. But she's the one that she's also, I feel like too, and I have no clue what happens in the game, but I kind of wonder if something eventually will happen to Dina, because she's like, out of everybody, I don't have to worry. It's like, yeah, you're immune. Not everybody else is around you. They're probably going to be killed.
Well, Marlene said to her in season 1, you're not immune from being torn apart. You're not immune from being like killed by the clickers, right? You're just immune maybe from being infected. And honestly, how many times can you get bitten and still be immune, right? I mean, it could be a thing like malaria where you build up immunity, but you could also still get malaria if you
are bitten too many times.
Yeah. There's no lifetime immunity from malaria. You can still get it.
Yeah. This is apparently in the game. I guess it has something to do with a code for safe. From what I had read, but people, I guess, really like that because they showed the dog. Again, that's not something I have any clue what it's about, but people talk about the way it was moving. At first, I thought the new creature was the dog. Oh, okay, yeah.
It was moving on all fours, like a dog, kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't think that, but that totally makes sense.
It does.
I didn't think it because I didn't.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what it was at first.
Yeah. I will say, though, I'm like, Ellie, why are you walking over the broken glass?
Yeah.
Like, try not to make noise, but she falls through. And Dina is like, we'll come around, I'll find you, whatever. And this is where she finds a clicker. I took a picture. I don't know if that was. I'm guessing there's probably some kind of joke in there.
That was not a clicker. That was the stalker. She killed the clicker.
No, I mean she does fight a clicker here though. But I'm guessing there's some kind of joke in there that I didn't find, but I took a picture of it. Oh, okay. I skipped it. No, I thought there was a clicker first that she stabbed in the head.
No, there was no.
Maybe that's after.
When she falls down. When she falls through the hole, no, this is the.
She had already killed the clicker.
Oh, she already killed. Yeah, that's what I meant. I said I must have skipped.
And then fell through the floor.
Okay. Yeah. Well, she killed a clicker when she fell through the floor. How's that?
No, she killed the clicker and then later she fell through the floor.
Okay. Michael said the dog employee of the month was a great cameo from the game. Well, at any rate, I'm sorry I didn't have a picture of the clicker, but this is the stalker, as you called it. She comes out of like a crate or something in the background.
The stalker, is that what somebody called?
So she waited for Ellie. She, kind of lured her out there, I guess would be the best way to.
Well, they haven't officially. I mean, that's what when she was giving her statement to the tribunal there.
She said it stalked her. She said it acted different, stalking me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just using. I know that there are stalkers in the game.
All right, that's cool.
So makes it easier for us to talk about.
Cool. A cool costume piece though, the way they did that.
And that's why Fletch says the new cordyceps creature, more advanced, gave me Game of Thrones White Walker vibes. And definitely Fletch go back, Jamie, please. The way those fungal things are coming out of the head do give me like the white. What's his name called? The king of the White Walkers. What was he called? The white. Whatever that the like he had
like a crown.
He had ice things like a crown coming out of his head, right?
Yeah.
I didn't think about White Walker, but it does give White Walker vibes.
Well, it definitely looks like a crown.
And is smart.
Fletcher makes a good point, though, says that maybe those scratches are like it killed the bear, and that's what the scratches are from. Her face is filled with scratches. So that's interesting. And he said it's the Night King. The Night King is what you're talking about with Game of Thrones, I guess.
The Night King, thank you. Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think if a bear scratched your face, your entire face would be ripped off, your skull.
Okay, that's true.
Fair enough.
That's yeah. Well, her nose is ripped off. Maybe he just got a very glancing blow. I don't know.
Yeah.
Michael says the stalkers are from the first game. I did not know. I didn't.
Oh, so I think held on using them
far enough to know that, I guess. But so anyway, Ellie does.
Jamie, what did you do? Play half the first game and half the second game?
I played half the first game because I actually played it. The second game, I tried it. I got a trial and I played.
Why would you try the second game before you complete the first one?
Because I wanted to know how violent it was, because I'd read a lot of stuff about it, which has more to do with a dog and less to do with violence. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to go very far in the game, but it was fun, so I do want to play it eventually. But anyway,
Jamie always likes to when Jamie gets a lot of access to things ahead of time, and this
is just a video game I tried out. I didn't have access to the game ahead of time. That was a long time ago.
Anyway, we're in the basement.
It doesn't bother me knowing, but besides, I already knew to say, not without saying what it is. I already knew the huge spoiler into the second game, anyways, or coming out at the beginning of the second game, so it didn't matter. Anyway, she gets bit
again.
As she's killing this stalker, but she does kill it. And then Dana comes over and she hides.
Well, but before that, though, I like what she did. Though, she took her knife and completed it so it made it look like she got stabbed with something and not a
that's
and
later.
Not a bite.
Yeah, I got that later. Yeah, that was smart.
Because another thing she's not immune from is the townspeople killing her because they think she's infected.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah, they can't let anybody see it. So this is the council, which is new, and I guess I'm assuming they make decisions together, but we don't really know much about it yet. But they tell them about the stalkers. And I think it's funny that Maria knows that being a complete. Sorry?
One stalker.
Sorry. Well, that they exist is what I meant.
Well, I mean, I just think this is a typical thing we see. One exists. Ellie saw one, and they're not sure they believe her, right? And I mean, this is kind of a trope that we've seen before also. And we saw in Walking Dead, where certain walkers seem to have, actually Walking Dead did a shitty job and went nowhere with it, but we had some that were able to learn how to climb and stuff, right? Or was that in Fear? No. Anyway, I mean, but right now, Ellie has seen one and they don't really know if they believe her, which is important because, eventually by the end of the season, they're going to be tons of them around probably. And it'll be a bit we should have believed her, or she saw it first or whatever. Right.
Right. Well, by the end of it, when Tommy and Maria are talking, she says that she doesn't think Dina saw anything, but that she does believe Ellie.
Yeah.
So there's that. So I got a couple more of the.
This is how you know that they didn't build this town, because they certainly didn't build a town council, right? They have moved into an existing town council. I have a friend who lives in Jackson. I got to ask if Jackson really looks like this.
All right, here is where she is smart and cleans the knife and then uses it to.
Oh, and there's the tattoo. A much better shot of the tattoo.
Well, that shows her wrist. That shows it a little better. Yeah, it's a moth. I'm sure we'll get a better look at it.
I think it's a fern.
It is. It's a fern with a moth.
So AJ, I didn't really know what she was doing. Thank you for explaining to me why she was cutting her injury, because I
thought it was obvious.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of obvious.
Obvious to you.
Well, because we know that, you know, like you said, if the townspeople see that she's been bitten, you know, her little secret's going to come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she has to change it. There, she kind of cuts across it.
Do you think they've told Tommy?
Yeah, Joel told Tommy in the season.
Did he?
1.
Oh, that's right. He told him in season 1. I forgot.
Yeah. He's the only one that knows. So I have to think, though, they'd wonder how she got stabbed, but, you know.
Tommy probably told Maria.
I love the barbecue part there.
Yeah, barbecue was good. She's like, did you just make that up?
But she's writing, don't fuck it up, don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
Underneath that, right?
Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Dina made up barbecue. So she likes the puns as well. So Joel has been letting her live in the garage by herself, which is at 19. I get that. But
hey, Greg Brady moved into the attic when he was only like
yeah, well, she's got a whole, you know, place there and the guitar, and I think this is where he says ask her and she says it doesn't work or something like that.
No, she says it's fine, and he picks it up and he says the strings are shot. I'll fix them for you.
Yeah.
Okay, I couldn't remember.
And runs out of the room.
I didn't get all the way through watching it a second time, so I couldn't remember. Yeah, he is a bad man, but I like him too. I mean, I think we all do. LER.
But he's a bad man in the way.
He's a bad man for the stuff he did in the past.
What did he do in the past? Really, that was bad. He did what he had to do to survive. I mean, like, I'm not sure if Fletch, like, he's a bad man. He's a bad man, but he's not trying to be bad. He has a code that he lives by, or he has an outlook, right? He's not a bad man like some other villains. He's not the villain of the right? Like, he's a bad. His moral through line is different than a lot of ours, right? And he's done bad things to survive, but he's not a bad man like that creepo cult guy last season who tried to rape Ellie, right? He's not that kind of a bad man.
No, he's not that kind of a bad man.
No.
But Ellie makes it to the party and everybody's dancing and having fun, and it definitely does not look like Ellie's kind of scene, that's for sure. She does not fit in. And this is where she's talking to Jesse, and this is where I said there's a comment. I don't remember exactly what he says, but she says something like, don't worry, you'll be back together. And he's like, no. And the way he says it, I kind of got, or at least I thought he was saying it like he knew that she liked Ellie, and Ellie just didn't realize it.
I kind of agree with you. I think I might just be terrible at reading the subtext between these two girls, because you see it and I don't.
Well, to be fair, I mean, I knew she was going to be her girlfriend from the game. But, I mean, not that that necessarily tells me anything, but I knew it was going to be her love interest. So, I guess I was looking for it.
You know what I thought was funny is, like, everybody else is very casual, and Ellie's dressed casually, but I'm looking at her. She's got her hair pulled back. She's got the button-down flannel on, and I was like, she looks like somebody straight out of East LA. Like, I kept expecting her to just button the top button and then walk up to somebody and be like, hey, what's up, pato?
Yeah.
So she does talk to Dina, who at some point asks her to dance, and they dance, and then I think I got a picture of them kissing somewhere here.
So this is where it does get a little, like, Dina is moving Ellie's hand closer around her waist, and she's being moving their bodies closer, but she's very drunk. Yes, characters mention that she's very drunk, and it's not clear, is she showing off? Like Ellie says, every guy in the room is looking at you. No, they're looking at you. They have this sort of weird banter, and I felt
she's like maybe they're jealous.
And I thought maybe Dina was trying to make boys jealous in the way that sometimes young straight people think it's kind of like young straight, you know, like we've all, two girls kissing. Oh, you're gonna have a pillow fight. All this like stupid kind of young boy stuff. And maybe it's because, you know, Fletch and I both don't see the chemistry. And maybe that's why I read this as Dina like using Ellie to show off to the boys. Because I didn't know that they were love interests until you guys like mentioned it tonight. Let's talk about Dina. She ended up with her boyfriend a few days ago. She sees Ellie
with her boyfriend.
She sees Ellie with her ex, so she goes there and drinks from her ex's cup. Come on, Dina, respect. I mean, Dina is sort of like, she is still trying to like.
Well, she's drunk too.
All right, but that doesn't make it okay to like.
No.
Nobody said it was okay that she stole his drink.
You know, is she leading him on a little bit? It
By
also
stealing his drink.
No, well, I mean, no, but she was with the boy a couple days ago. Then she sees Ellie with the guy. She, you know, I mean, Dina is a little, but she's very drunk. Yes, she's.
But
again,
yeah, it did seem like maybe she danced with Ellie after Ellie was talking to her ex.
Yeah, and because
I don't think. I mean, Jesse is just part of the town, and Jesse and Ellie are friends. So I don't think there's. I feel like, I think Fletch was being funny because.
He is. And we're both willing this relationship not to happen because we don't see it on the screen, but it's going to happen because it's in the game.
But I don't know. Ellie's very awkward in this scene too. It's like, you know.
So she's very.
I don't think there's any chemistry to see yet, which is why I'm saying I want to wait and make my determination at a later date.
I think Ellie is maybe a little emotionally stunted in the sense that the first girl she ever kissed, she had to stab in the head like 5 minutes later.
This is fair.
Right?
Actually, she had to shoot her.
She shot her, right? She had to shoot her. She had to kill. First girl she liked, the first girl she kissed, she had to kill within a very short time, the same night. And it's not clear that she's had any sort of meaningful, like, you know, teen girl.
Yeah, it sounds like when she dated Kat, it was kind of whatever because Ellie was like, eh.
Yeah, I got the opinion when she said that she meant she was just sleeping with Kat, not that it was a relationship, but I don't know.
I don't even think she was doing that. The way Ellie reacted.
Fletch, you got to put a smiley face or I'll take it all seriously, okay?
It's hard to tell the tone of text sometimes. We don't see her make chemistry. There's some wild scenes coming. Yeah. Well, if they make out all the time, we might know that they're supposed to have chemistry.
What, they make out all the time?
No, I don't know. I said if they do, we'll know they're supposed to have chemistry.
If we don't see it, then yeah.
But they kiss, and then this guy who's here somewhere, that guy, isn't he usually a comedian?
Is he what?
I think he's usually, whatever I've seen him in, it was like a comedy. I don't know. But
he's usually a very dramatic actor. He usually does not play comedies.
Maybe he's not who I'm thinking of.
He could have. He could have been in a comedy, but
I don't know. But anyway, he gets mad, and I forget exactly what he says, like that this is a nice place, or
he says we're in a church. He says we are in a church.
I didn't realize they were.
And he said something about it being a family.
This is a family event. First, he says it's a family event, which fair enough, right? Like they are making out in the middle.
Yeah, that is my question, and I think is the issue. Would he have had the same problem if it was a boy that Ellie was making out with?
I don't think he would have.
No, I don't think he would have either. But to be fair, we don't really know that. If they are in a church, they really shouldn't be standing there making out in the middle of the party necessarily.
Who cares?
But they're also older teenagers.
Well, so I mean, maybe people shouldn't be like making out in the middle of, like, I don't want to be at a party and people are I mean, I'm a girl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, for all we know, he might have yelled at them anyway.
Nobody else said anything except for.
But I was going to say, but it's clearly implying that it's because they're girls, because they're two girls.
Yes.
Clearly, you know, like you guys don't feel chemistry, but I feel that it was definitely a bigoted move on his part.
Oh yeah. No, but I'm just saying we don't know. They wouldn't have yelled it.
We don't know that yet.
But that's not the point. It's clear that he doesn't like their lesbians and has a problem with it.
Or they're not maybe lesbians because
that's true because she's bi. That there are two girls kissing there.
Yes, this guy clearly is offended. I mean, he says we're in a church because two girls kissing is an affront to this family affair, definitely, right? Yes. Yeah.
I apologize.
So Joel shows up.
Joel shows up and is like, what are you doing? And, I didn't know how to feel about this scene because, like, I see it from Joel's point of view, and I kind of feel like he stuck up for Ellie and backs the guy up a bit in the show. He literally ran over him. I mean, I like that he stuck up for her. She's his daughter. He doesn't want somebody bullying her. But at the same time, I see her point of view that she's like, what the hell are you doing, man? You're making a scene.
She said,
It's
what is
not
wrong
making
with
her
you?
feel better. And what's wrong with you? You're yelling, you're getting violent. This isn't cool. But
Actually, it wasn't. Actually, everything was okay until he called them dykes. I forgot about
We
that
did
part.
call them dykes.
Oh,
he called them
okay,
dykes.
yeah, you're
Great.
right,
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Call them,
So yeah,
call
Joel
them
had a
dykes,
right
and
to get
that's when Joel.
mad.
That's when Ellie was like, "What did you say?" And then Joel ran him over.
Well, I think that if Joel hadn't done something, though, Ellie probably would have punched him.
No, I think I don't.
I think she might have.
No,
What
I don't
do
think.
you guys think in the chat?
Go ahead, AJ. What do you think?
I don't think Joel should. It was hilarious to watch it happen because I wasn't expecting it. But I don't think Joel should have ran him over. I think Joel should have been a little more adult and walked over and been like, I think you owe them an apology or something along those lines, or hey, shut the fuck up, or something, not running him over. I think that was a bad move. Which I think Ellie was going to get into an argument with him. I don't think she would have hit him. I don't
know that she would have hit him, but she definitely would have been in a big fight with him at any rate, whether it was physical or not. I think that she wouldn't have taken it. I mean, she is not. Yeah, she's craving a fight, and she is not.
I think
she's
Ellie
not nice to her elders a lot of times. I mean, she's a rude kid. She has no respect for her adults. So she definitely would have been yelling and swearing at him if she didn't punch him.
I mean, again, she was raised in an environment where she only had like military style overlords. She didn't have parents. They're the only. She's going to fight, and this one was justified reason to fight. I mean, I think Ellie would have had words with him. I think the entire crowd and Dana would have been like, Ellie, come on. I do think that Joel overreacted. So in the game, he just kind of backs the guy up a little bit. I think that would have been the appropriate response to. I mean, Joel definitely overreacts. He's super overprotective in the scene. There's a way to deal with this man without doing what he did. And I think if you are trying to have a better relationship with your daughter, then utterly mortifying her in front of the entire town is not the way to do that. I mean, AJ, if you ever did that to one of your children,
would they ever speak to you again?
Or any of you in the chat who have children, I just always go to AJ because but that's not a way to. That's a way to utterly embarrass your kid, right?
It is. There's a part of me though.
Wait, I asked him. Let him speak.
Sorry, go ahead.
It depends. I think it depends on the situation. In that situation, Joel went overboard. It definitely has to depend on the situation.
I mean, if the guy had put a hand on either of those girls, that would have.
Yes. And let's not forget, Joel and Ellie aren't on the best of terms right now anyway. So you know what? It doesn't matter what Joel does there. I think Ellie has a problem with it no matter what. Even if Joel walked up to him and was like, hey, show some respect. Something very simple, very calm, very, I think Ellie would have been like, why are you even saying anything to him? I could have taken care, So I don't think Joel can do anything right in any moment with Ellie right now. But as an overall whole, that was definitely too far and fueled Ellie even more.
There's still a little part of me though that I want to be like, yay, he stood up for her. Like I know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you can stand up for somebody without running them over.
Yeah, I know. But with what you said is true though. No matter how he stood up for her, even if he was polite and didn't do anything, she still would have been pissed.
He could have said, "Hey man, it's a party. Leave him alone." Right?
Yeah, but she still would have found fault.
But he humiliated her.
He did.
I don't think Ellie is a person that wants to be the center of attention.
No, definitely not. Yeah. But yeah, he's trying at any rate. He's just not very good at it, but he's trying. But she's like, what the hell? So,
and he makes a comment at some point. I think when he's talking to Gail, his therapist, or at some point, I think he makes a comment like that when he was raising Sarah, he never got to raise her this far to this age. So it's all for the first time with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's against a backdrop of the worst trauma you can have as a parent, right?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Ellie's pissed and going back. Now, this, I think, I could be wrong, but I'm guessing this might be from the game because the way they shot it makes me think it might be. And I know that he does play the guitar in the game, but beyond that, just because I've seen pictures. But beyond that, I don't know. But it's a cool shot. I like the way they shot it. And his guitar. I want to hear him sing. His little space heater there, which is funny. And then they show that there is a tendril in the pipe, like moving awake, whatever. It's implying that the cordyceps has been awoken in the town. So, yeah, I'm really worried about what that means.
And then I don't know if you have a picture. They do this long shot of the pipe going out of the town up into the right.
They just show Abby.
They have that long shot of it, and we know that cordyceps has all. It can wake up infected who are miles away, maybe, right?
Yeah. I wonder if the town's going to go to shit. I hope not. I mean, in a video game it might, but I'm hoping here they don't just like massacre everybody. But who knows? Because it makes me think of like what they did with Kathleen and stuff when the bloater came, because this is a lot of this underground. Clearly, it's coming from underground. But yeah, and then,
this is a different situation because that's a pipe. It's not a hole in the ground.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it implies to me that they could be under that, though, that they could be going to come up from underground. It must have shown her, I guess, at the end of the pipe. I don't remember showing her. Why is there maybe that's the beginning?
No, it shows them. It cuts to Abby and her friend there up in the mountains looking down on the lights of the town.
Oh, okay.
So they're miles away.
They have apparently come to Jackson.
Okay, I couldn't remember. I just had the picture of it, so I wasn't sure.
I don't know what's going on, but it seems like they are just roaming the country, going from town to town. Like
maybe.
Like, are they going to be like, have you heard of a guy named Joel? Like, if Joel's only been in Jackson for the last 5 years, nobody would really.
I'm sure we'll find out more in the next episode what they've been up to.
Yeah. Well, we have. I know a little bit of time left, but at least we got through the recap portion.
We have as much time as we have to talk that day.
Well, we have
to push
9:45. I have a watch party.
Yeah. Right. We don't have to push it though.
No, I know. No, I just was going to say, what else do we want to talk about? And
I know what I want to talk about. Fletch says, honestly, felt disappointed with this episode, but let's see what this season has in store for us.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I wasn't, like I said, I didn't dislike it. I just was underwhelmed, and I want more. And the fact that there's only 7 episodes. Like,
that's something we could talk about. It's the terrible decision that they're now trying to get a season 4 because of all the massive gameplay, and just make longer seasons.
Yeah,
like give me 13 episodes. Give me 13 episodes, and you have 2 more seasons.
I question though, if they had waited and did a longer season, would it have taken them another year to get it out?
We're in season 2. They want to go for 4, and there's only 2 games. So the entirety of this game will be stretched over 3 seasons now.
Yes.
I mean, to be fair, somebody made a comment, either Michael or Fletch made a comment that the second game is massive.
Yeah.
Was the comment.
I actually said something, and I said something. I think I don't remember if I said it on Tuesday or if I said it after we were done, but I was talking to Artie about it when I told him about 4 seasons. He said there's like 40 hours. Oh, it was after the show because we had the whole cutscene conversation. Yeah, he said there's like 40 hours of cutscenes. So
yeah,
I guess there is
enough.
the story for it, but when it takes 2 years for each season to come out,
Yeah.
Hey, look at this. At least, maybe you know what? Not for nothing. Maybe by season 3, Bella Ramsey will look old enough to be a 19-year-old.
Yeah.
Even though she's actually older than that now.
As much as Fletch was let down by this episode, he hopes we all enjoy the season. The story itself is going to be amazing. Trust me, don't care about the haters. Haters will always hate. That's true.
Yeah. Some of the haters are very loud with this fandom, but yes.
Yeah, you know what? There was review bombing before the episode premiered. So what, I'm always prepared for things to be bad.
I'm not a gamer, but I know that the gamer community can be very vocal and aggressive, right? Some parts of it, not the whole gamer community, but some of the online, like there's a lot there. Who maybe just didn't ever want it to be a TV show at all, right? So,
I don't know. I just feel like if it would have taken them a whole nother year to get those next 7 episodes, I'd rather them split it. And give us.
Well, Pedro Pascal also is the Mandalorian and doesn't have a completely clear calendar to
and
just
also in movies and everything else.
Yeah.
But the only thing left with the Mandalorian is the movie. They're not doing another season.
Okay, but the guy I'm just saying, the guy has other stuff on his calendar besides let me clear the decks to shoot a year, to spend my whole life shooting The Last of Us, right? Which has to be renewed before they, the HBO.
But when you're only having 7 episodes, I don't know. I just feel like that's too short.
Do you know how much these episodes cost?
I don't care. It's not my money.
Right? And post, you know what it costs to do the creature effects in post and to do that town that looks so realistic, because most of Jackson is done in post, right? In FX. I mean, these FX heavy shows, I hate it. AJ, I agree. I hate it. It's horrible, but it takes a long time to do
VFX.
all these VFX,
well,
right?
I'm at least glad to get, like I said, if it would have been nice to have one long season, but I would rather get it now. And if it meant waiting another year, then I'm okay with it. But why they need 3 seasons for one game when they didn't?
All right, you know what? I'm gonna say this. I was gonna save this for Tuesday, but I just found out today they've already announced season 2 of Daredevil, March of next year. And we had 9 episodes. Year,
that's like 11 months from now.
Yes. So it can be done. And there's a lot of VFX in that too.
It has some VFX, yeah. Not maybe the same level, but you're right. I think splitting into 2 seasons. So Fletch, hard for me to say because I don't play the game, so I don't know if the game has enough content to be 2 seasons or 3 seasons. As a person who doesn't play video game, like I had this conversation with AJ and Jamie, and they were like, "Wait a minute, Karen, have you never played a video game?" And I was like, "The last video game I played was an Atari 5200." And those, like, I just don't play video games, so I don't really know if any video game is worth being 2 seasons of television. Much less 3. I know that I watched Halo and I thought that was a terrible show. And I watched what's that, Fallout, and I thought that was a terrible show. And I have not had a good experience with video game adaptations except for this one. So I'd rather hear like a gamer Fletch's thoughts on splitting the second game into 2 seasons. Because I don't really know. 3 seems excessive, right?
The reason it seems excessive to me is because it's only 7 episodes a season. Like,
yeah, and they're only like an hour and maybe
15 minutes. Why not just do like less?
Why not do 14? Yeah. I mean, and it's funny because I remember when these shows, when this whole shorter season thing, I mean, we all come from an age of 22 to 24 episodes a season for a TV show, and then they come right back the next year with no problem. And then and then a lot of these shows started to cut back to like 13 episode seasons, which, I kind of like those seasons. And, British shows have always done these short 6 to 8 episode seasons for a long time. Yeah. But the British shows also, they don't run as many seasons a lot of times, 2, maybe 3, 4, possibly with the British shows, but now we live in this streaming era where they're cutting these shows back to 6, 8 episodes, and it's taken 2 years for each season. That's where I think that's where the real problem lies. Is it takes so long to produce these shows. We still don't have Stranger Things season 5.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And I saw Finn Wolfhard doing an interview the other day, and he looks like he's like 40 years old. Yeah. he's grown a lot. Not 40, but he's tall. I mean, that's an issue. Bella Ramsey is aging, right? Like I feel like 2 years for Pedro Pascal, he will barely change. 2 years for Bella Ramsey, she will change dramatically, maybe, as a person who is still growing and changing, right? So that also is a tall Walt situation. Do you guys mind if I quickly go to another comment? Because I want to talk about Michael's comment about the guiding star of the game is what makes a person good or bad, and the balance that comes with it when it comes to survival. Michael posted this when we were talking about Joel, and is Joel a bad? Somebody else had commented Joel, like, we love Joel, but that MF is a bad dude. And my defense of him, is he really bad? Is he? I mean, he's not like Hitler bad, right? He's not like Negan bad. But, and again, I've not played the game. Jamie, you've played a limited amount of the game. What makes a person good or bad? We argue all that. We talk. All three of us are always calling each other out on Phantom Access, our regular show, about calling a person good or calling a person bad, because every person is the star of their own movie and thinks they're good.
Yeah, I say that all the time. That everybody's the hero of their own story.
Yeah.
And I mean, and the balance that
good or bad might be it might be too far left or right, too far in one direction. There's lot more gray areas, and it depends on context a lot of times, and who the hero of our show is. You know what I mean? I mean, you watch a show like Dexter, he's not a good person, but you root for him because he has a code until he's almost caught and then kills an innocent person. And then, that's okay for the time being. It all depends on the story being told, what side of the fence we're sitting on.
And and I like when they look into that, because that's why I said, like last week when we were talking, as I said, is like, you can say, Joel killed them because they were going to kill her, but like, what if Ellie had been somebody that killing her would have saved? Would that have made it better? Like,
right.
It all depends.
When we were talking last week about Joel killing everybody
to save Ellie, and we all, or you guys said, because I said I just honestly don't know, but said that, like, they were going to kill her, so he had to kill them and everything. And I'm just saying, like, what if it was kill Ellie? Like, if it was like kill Ellie to save Sarah or something like that, like killing her was what saved the person that he cared about. Would that make a difference? Because it's all how you look at it and what side you're on when you do it. And
I mean, yeah, we got into it last week with Fletch, who was like, "Oh my God, like, I'm sorry, but it would have saved the world." Like, yes, I'm sorry, Ellie has to die. It would have saved the world. And then and some other people were like, "No, she didn't have a choice. It wasn't informed consent. She didn't know. You can't make an assumption."
Right. And then, my whole stance on it really is two part. One, you didn't ask her. You can't, Marlene was like, "Oh, well, this is what Ellie would have wanted." You didn't ask her. How the fuck do you know what she wants? Number one. And number two, it depends, because they don't know it's going to work. If they said, "Hey, we've tested everything, we know this is going to work, but Ellie has to die for it to work," that's a different story than, "Hey, let's try this. Hopefully it works."
Kill an innocent girl, try it.
And I don't think we want to relitigate this every single week.
No, we don't. But
I really liked Jamie had a very good question about, like, if killing Ellie would have saved Sarah, would Joel be singing a different tune?
Yep. You know what? I don't know. I'm going to say probably, but I don't know. It also depends if he knows Ellie in the same way. If Ellie is a stranger, kill her to save my daughter.
Yeah.
If he knows Ellie and she's been traveling with him and Sarah the whole time, and it's, "Hey, Ellie has to die to save your daughter," I think he's definitely going to be conflicted. And he's going to, and who knows? He might say, "Hey, I don't know. Ask Ellie."
Yeah, because I think by the end of season 1, Joel comes to really love Ellie and think of her as a daughter. And so to choose between Sarah, that's like a Sophie's choice. Which one of your children do you choose to die?
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad we didn't see that, actually. But I mean, Jamie, also last week, I think you characterized this show as like, how far would you go to save somebody that you love? I mean, Joel's willing to not have a cure for humanity yet. Like, I think Joel would be like willing to be like, "Oh, you're gonna draw her blood, okay?" But they were gonna like remove her brain, right?
They went from 0 to 60 way too fast.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So why do you think? I mean, I just want to talk about the beginning of the episode. Ellie's pissed at him. I mean, is this all stemming from she thinks he lied, or do you think a lot of it really is just kind of teenage drama? I assume she's
5 years later.
She thinks he lied, but it's 5 years later, so I'm not even entirely sure. And she never really knows for sure if he lied. So I don't know. What do you think?
No, she doesn't know, and she takes him for his word, because they give us the last 2 minutes of of season 1's finale when the episode starts, and he's like, he tells her, he's like, I'm telling you the truth, and she's like, okay, and she walks off towards the town.
So why have you been pissed at? Because I mean, I think to me it implied that she's been mad for 5 years, but maybe it isn't supposed to be that way.
I don't think she's been mad for 5 years.
Well, I think she has been in the way that a sullen teenager can generally be mad for 5 years, just kind of mad at the world. I was pretty mad for all of high school. I don't know what I was mad at, but it was high school.
Right.
I was mad at the nuns. I was mad at my parents. I was mad at my friend, whatever. But I do kind of agree with Jamie that I think there might be an element that Ellie knows that Joel didn't tell her the whole truth, but she doesn't know what he's keeping.
Right.
I mean, at a minimum, I think she suspects that he killed like 20 people to get her out of there, and he hasn't been honest about that. I don't know what level. I just think she knows he hasn't been totally honest, and I think she really values honesty, and he promised he'd never lie to her, right? And then he lies to her. And I think she has no idea of the level of it, but I think she has a sense that he hasn't told her the truth. I mean, I think that as a parent, you don't always tell your kids the truth, and there are good reasons not to sometimes, right? And he's protecting her.
Well, I think there's a good chance that he knows if he does tell her, she'll be like, let's go back. Not that
I think he doesn't want to give her consent or give her the choice, because she might make a choice he doesn't agree with.
Right, exactly.
Of course, he also shot the doctor that had the cure. So the doctor that knew what he was doing is.
Well, there can be other doctors, but yeah, you're right.
But you don't know that. Yeah.
Real Cinema Therapy, Lori says, I think Joel cares for Ellie, but does he love her for himself, or is she a replacement for Sarah?
It's a good question.
That is a good question. Although he
That's a really good question.
Sorry, what, AJ?
I said that's a really good question.
Yeah, it is. I know that he did say to her last season that basically she gave him a new purpose. But yeah, is she partially a stand-in for Sarah? Maybe a bit.
She might have started out that way, but I would like to think after all this time,
I would hope,
for Ellie, not, that she's no longer a stand-in, that it's about Ellie.
Right.
Oh, there's some great comments here. Mildred Hubble, hi. I don't think we've met before. Maybe you've been in other chats, but welcome. If it were 1 year later, sure, this makes sense. But story-wise, 5 years later, there must be some other reason. Yes, fair. So I'm saying she knows he's not telling the truth, but 5 years later, you're right. Is there another?
I feel like I missed something, though, because they didn't really key us into it. That's part of what made me feel like I missed something, I think. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doc says, did Joel off the therapist's husband off camera between seasons? She said last year, I thought, but it seems like years have gone by since season 1 ended. Ooh, I didn't even catch that. Then yes, it would have to be in between seasons because they've been there for 5 years.
It's a 5-year time jump. And so he killed the therapist's husband off camera 1 year ago, 4 years into their time there. It was a little confusing, but yes, he killed the therapist's husband off camera.
Yeah.
In between.
I think that we'll get some kind of flashback to that.
Yeah. I think I think somebody posted here in the chat, it might be Michael posted, I'm not sure, that the creators have said there's going to be a Eugene episode.
Yeah, somebody said that. It was either Michael or
Fletch.
Or Fletch.
There's going to be a Eugene episode, and we said we kind of trust them really to do that, right?
Yeah.
There also apparently is an entire storyline that they won't have time to touch in the season, and it also feels very separate from the season. So 2 seasons makes sense to me. Our talk about splitting this in 2 or 3,
right? But we're getting 3 seasons, which is the issue.
Well, that's not official yet.
No,
they're trying to get a third season.
I kind of feel like they've been renewed for a 3rd season, but the plan is to go. Yeah, they've been renewed for 3rd season, but the plan is to go 4. But my guess is at a certain point they're going to have to start working on 3, and they're not going to get to the end if they don't renew it. So they probably will. But I have to wonder, did it maybe make more sense to do the story of just them, and then do a separate season, all of Abby and the Fireflies? So we started. So we felt for them a little more. and make him a little more sympathetic. I think that might have worked. I feel though like too many people would have complained if Ellie and Joel
I don't think that would have worked at all. I don't think you follow one story and then the other story, especially when those stories overlap.
I think you have to have Joel and Ellie be the central characters, right? As they are throughout the game. I mean, I know I have heard that Ellie is much more the central character of 2.
Yeah, I think you play as Abby though. I'm pretty sure too. I think you play Ellie half the game and Abby half the game. Maybe I'm wrong.
But they're still a through character, and to take it.
Yeah.
I also hope that they've learned some lessons from something like Walking Dead that did too much dilution of characters and side stories that kind of, in my opinion, diminished the franchise, right? Of course, those were spin-off shows and not just like, I don't know. I feel like an entire season of not seeing a character. I'm trying to think of other shows that have done an entire season where you don't see a main character.
Not usually, no.
Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yes. In Game of Thrones, their entire seasons, their entire books that he has written, that certain characters are not in it. Yeah. It works for books. It doesn't work for TV.
To answer, okay, I was just going to put it on.
Yeah, Fletch. So yeah, originally the story we heard was that I read was they were splitting it, and just recently, I read that they really want to do 3 seasons for Game 2 because
I don't know if we're ever going to get a third game.
But again, that's what I was saying. That brings me back to what I was saying before. Do longer seasons.
A third game is iffy, right? There is.
From what I understand, they're not. Yeah, from what I understand, they're probably not going to do a third game.
No, because they've already started.
From what I've read.
I mean, maybe someday. Just like I hope we get another Uncharted game someday. But you know.
Yeah.
So, all right.
Wait, quickly.
We should probably wrap this up.
I was going to say, does Artie not want to join? I thought you said Artie was going to come in and tell us.
No, maybe later in the season. I think Artie wants.
Oh, okay. I thought he meant tonight.
It depends on his busy. He's a teenager. He has a very busy schedule.
No,
he has a way bigger life than we do. Quickly before we jump, Jamie, you played season 1 of the game. Fletch says Joel was Walking Dead type villain guy back in the day. Was he?
I assume that means before the game, like in his past, because I mean, you're killing people and you're killing dead, but I mean, that's
like before we meet him in Boston, what he went through for 20 years.
I would assume that's what he means.
Joel's kind of got governor vibes.
Really? Governor vibes. Wow.
Yeah.
I also read the Governor book, so.
Oh yeah. And I cannot let us end the show without mentioning that Fletch's dog is named after Ellie.
That's great.
We have a serious fan in our midst, and I'm so happy to have you along for the ride to clue us in. Michael, also, all of you guys.
Name to barbecue, though. He's still on the Yellowjacket train. That's okay.
Everyone who joins us in this chat, you all, if you play the game, if you don't, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Yep.
And if you are here, please come over. I always forget to put the link to Discord because we're going to be doing a watch party at Quarter Tills, like in about 10 or so minutes.
Of what?
Of the Agatha Christie's Towards Zero.
Okay.
Because Scarlett and I are doing a live stream at 11. So just enough time to watch it.
I read today, maybe in Hollywood Reporter, it's a much more sexy Agatha Christie than you've ever seen before.
I haven't seen a lot of like Agatha. I mean, I've seen a lot of shows that are like based on Agatha Christie, but like that's supposed to be true.
I've read a lot of the books, and they're like British from like the.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen a lot.
They're not sexy. They're not sexy.
No, I would agree with that, I guess.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. I think it gets really good.
Right.
I think it takes a while to get there a little bit, but I also, the first time I watched it was very tired. So, I'm looking forward to seeing how I feel this time I see it, but it's definitely worth a watch.
All right.
It's a fun murder mystery, but yeah. Our show for that is at 11, but we're going to have the watch party first. And then, of course, we come back Tuesday for our other roundup show at 10 p.m. Eastern. So, yeah.
Fandom Access on Tuesday.
Fandom Access Tuesday at 10. And then, and also Sunday night, we stream The Last of Us live when it drops in the Discord as well. So,
all right. So, great show, you guys. I will not be here next Thursday. Next Thursday is the NFL draft, and I'm working at the Ravens draft party. And so I'll be, but Jamie and AJ will be here.
Oh, you're echoing.
Yeah, do you have two mics open? It's gone. So I won't be here, but you guys have a great show next week. And I'll join you in 2 weeks.
All right.
Hey, Debbie,
Thank you,
just
everybody.
caught the very tail end of our show. I'm going to post the other YouTube link in the chat as well if you guys want to join at 11 to see our next show.
Okay.
But thank you, everybody, for coming. If you missed the show and you just caught the end, you can always go back and rewind and watch it again.
And then remember to come back next week to talk to us.
Yes.
And don't forget to like and subscribe so Jamie can get $1 from her channel.
Click through the videos, click on them, watch them, all that good stuff. It's very appreciated. Yep. And like I said, come back for the watch party on Sunday in Discord.
All right. Bye, y'all. Talk soon.
I think
our everybody
is coming in now. Night, guys.
Night.
Bye-bye.